Hey guys, join me, say hi to me, tell me where you're from. I am excited to be having my evening tea with you and to chat with you about some lovely topics that will help you in your life to awaken. I'm here to share my book, A Radical Awakening. It's coming out soon in 3 weeks. Sign up for my course. It's a 10-day course. Go to aradicalawakening.com and you get 3 books with the course. So say hi to me. Hi, Isha from Canada. Bona from Canada too. Jenny from California. Michelle. Michael. Lulu. Hi, guys. So we are going to talk about, hi, Luciana. We're going to talk about radical awakenings, and I'm going to try to have a series of conversations with you, maybe every night, to delve into why it is we are so afraid to radically awaken. So maybe you can chat here below why you think you have stopped your own radical awakening. If you have, if there's something that has stopped your radical awakening at any point in your life, a big journey, a big step that has stopped you, what was that reason? Hi guys from South Africa. So share with us why you may have stopped your own radical awakening. Divine Feminine, no, we do not need a book to take my course. You get a book with the course. So if you take my course, you get a book included. Fear. That's exactly correct. At the bottom of it all, it's a fear. Lulu, you're right. Fear of failure. It's difficult. The kids take over. We don't have time. Fear of the unknown. Fear of failing. There you go. I feel awakening is so dangerous, literally life-altering in the context of white supremacy and patriarchy. It is daunting. I get complacency, fear. Fear is a lie. Discomfort and fear. You are right. So each time you or I have ever stopped ourselves from transforming, from truly turning the corner, shifting the gear and elevating ourselves, it's because we have believed in the lie of fear. Fear of being alone, fear of failure, fear of rejection. We are constantly feeling that we're going to be rejected or ostracized, fear of the unfamiliarity. Absolutely. So I talk about fear constantly. Imposter syndrome. Who am I to think I can do this? Do you know I had imposter syndrome the entire time I wrote this book? Because it's a book about awakening. So I would tell myself, who do you think you are? Who says you could write a book about awakening? And I had to really work through my fears and go to the root of these fears. So what are some of the roots of our fear? It is our conditioning. We were raised to believe certain things about us, and we began to believe those things as if they were true. And step by step, year by year, choice by choice, we began to leave our essence, so to speak, our core authentic self. And we began to believe that we were only good enough if we pleased other people, or we were only good enough if we looked a certain way, or we're only good enough if we achieved in a certain way. So we began to entangle our own essence with somebody else, with the outside world. And soon we began to lose ourselves in the outside world. And we began to suffocate our inner self for the outside world. So this is what my book awakens back in you, to reclaim that lost self, to go back within and re-emerge as your most authentic self. So each one of you has a true self that is waiting to emerge. People often ask me, where is my true self? Where do you think your true self is? It's right here. It is buried under all the lies of fear. And our job, our spiritual obligation to ourselves is to unlayer all these false lies. So when you begin to unlayer the lies, write down beneath those lies is your true self. So in this book, I talk about being asleep in the matrix. The first step is to recognize that you have been asleep in the matrix. I write in the beginning, the first chapter is called Soul Erosion. And I write how our soul gets eroded because of the lies we condition ourselves with. The book is called A Radical Awakening. So I write, like a sword in a sheath, her brilliance stays dormant. Like a bow in a quiver, her power stays invisible. Like a pea in a pod, her worth stays small. Like a trapped animal in a cage, she awaits permission to be freed. Like a butterfly in formation, she will only emerge when her old skin dies. So this is what this book is about. It's about coming out of our old skin and transforming, shedding the false layers till you arrive at your true self. It's a thick book. I take you on a journey back into your power. If you go to aradicalawakening.com, I am doing a 10-day course at the end of this month, and you get 3 books included with the course. So go in there and get your course and transform yourself with me and hundreds of other women. So each one of us has laid dormant. Each one of us is awaiting permission to be free. So I'm going to invite a few women every night to talk to us about how they shed their skin, how they woke up, how they moved from pain and fear to empowerment and courage. So my first friend who I'm going to call to share about her radical awakening is my friend Susie. So I'm waiting to see Susie. I don't know how to do this very well, but when I see Susie, there she is. Hey, Susie.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing? I'm so excited about your book. I'm all signed up for the course and I can't wait to have a radical awakening with a whole group of people. Like what's better than that? I'm so excited for your class.
Thank you. So, Susie, you work with women. You're a woman yourself. You've suffered some of these fears that all of us get paralyzed by. So, just tell me in your experience, either from your own life or from the clients you work with, why is it that we women suffer the loss of self so much?
Well, I really, really related to what I love the chapter of the title, your first chapter, A Soul's Erosion. You know, I think both for me and most every woman I work with, we've experienced as women that soul erosion. I know for me personally, you know, I had a mom that I wanted to please, and I desperately wanted to please her. And the way that I learned to do that was to win a lot of piano contests. And I learned early on that the more first place trophies I won, the more attention I would get. And I was craving that connection and that approval. And it set me unconsciously on a course to want other people's approval and feel like I need to kind of do whatever it took to be nice and get your approval or someone else's approval. And I think that speaks for many of the women. I just had a client today who literally said to me, if someone asks her, she's a coach, and she literally said to me, if someone asks me how my business is going, like how's my coaching, she goes, the first thing out of my mouth is never like, oh my God, I love what I do. it's always, I go to how much money did I make this month? And if it's not so much money, I kind of have this unworthy feeling. And if it's this, then and so I think we're just so conditioned to find our, value on the outside. I was.
So how many of you can relate, and what did you do to get your mother's love or your father's love? So Susie, you became the pleaser, you became the achiever, you are a very accomplished pianist, and you thought that would give you self-love, that would give you self-worth, that would buy you something. And all of us do that, right? We're selling ourselves for this desire to be seen as significant, as worthy. I think we're all empty. Today I had a client, a man who was, all wrapped up about how much money he makes. And I had to tell him, but where's your soul? Where's your essence? You're not connected. And each one of us, I think, is suffering from this lack of connection. So Tina says, I was the good girl. I didn't cause any problem. Madeline says, I got all A's, always followed the rules. Because we were raised to believe that if we didn't do these the things on our prescription list, then we wouldn't get love. Juliet says, I was the helper, the good student, the best behaved, rule follower, right? So we girls especially are taught to follow the rules. Boys can break the rules. And so when we walk that tightrope, we lose something within us. So Susie, when did you realize that you needed to go on this journey to awaken yourself?
When I was 16, I realized I needed to leave. I left. I'm from New Orleans, got on a plane, went to Europe, still studied piano. I didn't have the courage yet to quit playing the piano, but I knew I needed to, and I thought if I severed my physical self, that I would be free. So I started when I was 16. I learned to meditate, but I realized quickly that even though I was on another whole continent, I was still severed in that whole thing. I still was desperately wanting my mom's approval still. So, but it started then, but it was very, very incremental. I wasn't one of those people that saw some kind of like stars, and it's been really breadcrumb by breadcrumb, daily practice by daily practice, little by little.
Yeah, I think it's a slow process. People shouldn't think it's like it happens in one moment. But I think something happens to women, to us women who are in our 40s and 50s. I think we reach the bump in the road, where we've done the good job. We did the good grades. We did the marriage or not, or we became the mothers or not. We tried to check off as many things on that checklist.
Mm-hmm.
And I think by the time we hit our 50s, I don't know about you, but I was burnt out. I was exhausted trying to be this perfect person, and I could never get there. And that's when, I hit my rock bottom. So do you remember, I talk about rock bottom a lot in this book. So do you remember your rock bottom and how that transformed you? Was it as a mother? Was it as a partner?
I would say it was as a mother. And I would say it was as recently, when Will was young, is when I really realized there was no denying that I could see myself passing on the exact things that I said I would never do. And I could see myself, in spite of myself, in spite of all this practice, I could see myself, if I was honest, caring about how he appeared to others, caring about the notes that a teacher would send home to me about him, caring that he was called a bull in a china shop, caring that he couldn't sit still in a class, caring what grades he made, caring if his thing was the best. I cared. I didn't want to. I had the intellectual, no, that's not me. I sent my kid to a Waldorf school, so he wouldn't even get grades. He didn't even get grades. And still, that was my bottom when I looked in the mirror and I realized I was passing this on. And that's when I got like, I need to wake up. It
Wow.
was another human being that I did not want to pass on.
Yeah, yeah. Our parenting sometimes can be our biggest awakener. So thank you, Susie. Everyone, we're talking about our radical awakenings, how you have turned pain into power, how you have embraced your truth, and how you have learned to live free. So thank you, Susie, for joining me. Susie
my
will
God.
be on this course. You signed up for the course.
I'm so ready for this course. It couldn't come soon enough. Join us, everybody. Like, do this together. Can you imagine anything better?
Yeah, so it's a 10-day course. Go to aradicalawakening.com. You get 3 books with that. Susie, thank you for sharing your story and joining us and inspiring us. Thank you so much. So as Susie was talking about, there come some pivotal moments in our life where we get to awaken. And sometimes we awaken on our own, and sometimes we awaken because of our children or a breakup or some change in our relationship. Okay. But always remember that our relationships are mirroring how we need to grow. Our children are mirroring something missing in us. So if we are so involved and invested in our children's lives, that's the problem, because they are mirroring to us that we are feeling incomplete and we're using them to fill the emptiness. If we care deeply about who our children are friends with, that's something about us. If we fall apart because our partners are not doing what we need, that's something within us. So all of our relationships are showing us something about us. And that is a radical awakening. The radical awakening is to realize how you are co-creating your own slumber. For me, when I woke up and realized that I was creating my own pain, my own dysfunctional relationships, I was the one in the driver's seat. That's when I had a radical awakening. It's easy to blame your partner. They're probably always doing something wrong. It's easy to call them a cheater, a liar, a betrayer. It's easy to blame your children. Children are cuckoo birds, right? They're feral, they're wild, they're disorganized, they're chaotic. Easy to blame them. But that's not how you radically awaken. The way you radically awaken is when you say, I am the co-creator of my patterns. I am the co-perpetuator of my destiny. I am the one in the driver's seat. It's that profound, that brutal, and that transformative. There is no one out there that can change for you to change. Stop waiting for permission from your partner to change, from your mother to change, and stop waiting for them to change so you can change. The only agent of transformation is you. There is nobody on the outside. Everyone on the outside is a projection of your mind. So pick up my book, A Radical Awakening, at aradicalawakening.com. I'm doing a 10-day course. You get 3 books for free. You can either buy the course or buy the book. Okay, I'm now going to invite another dear friend of mine, Farzeen, to talk about her life story. So maybe I'll be able to do this almost every night or in the day, to call different women to talk about their radical awakenings. So come on in, Farzeen. Come on in. So while she's coming, the registration is right there. Join me for this 10-day course. It's my only course in 2021, and you get 3 books for free. aradicalawakening.com. This book takes you down a deep process. And by the way, let me read you some of the quotes at the back. I have one from Alicia Keys. She says, the awakened woman breaks free from the clutches of fear and rises in her authentic power. These pages speak to this process and highlight how every woman can get there. So, I want to sneeze. Sorry, allergies. Awakened Woman. This book is about the awakened woman who steps into her authentic power and elevates her existence so that everyone around her can find their voice, find their authentic power, and break free. So Alicia Keys writes, profoundly inspiring. This book will spark you to reach toward and step into your greatest freedom. I also have quotes by Eckhart Tolle, Gabor Mate, Marie Forleo, but I'll read those another time. So I guess Fazine can't join in. I've been looking for her to join in. So what has fascinated me when I've been talking to women about their radical awakening is how we are pretty much living the same fears, how we are pretty much all feeling the same pressures to be perfect and to be powerful and to be in our biggest selves. We've been trained to be small, to be in the background, to be always putting others before us. So to now self-love feels like something selfish. And only when we decide that we are the most important people in our own lives without feeling guilt, only then will you truly become a conduit for service. You know, I used to always feel embarrassed if I put myself first. I always felt like I didn't deserve it, that a good girl always loved other people more than she loved herself. A good girl, why don't you complete the sentence? A good girl, what did you learn about being a good girl? For me, I learned a good girl never puts herself first. A good girl always puts other people before her. A good girl never causes trouble. A good girl always is shy and sweet and demure and obedient. So these were the messages that we learned as a child. A good girl is quiet. Yes. A good girl is polite. Very good. Good girl pleases others. Very good. A good girl gets walked on. A good girl is obedient. Absolutely. How do I get, Frazine, you have to ask me again. It's not letting me see your request. So a good girl is passive. A good girl is a good listener, is quiet. Absolutely, Amy. Kisses her grandmother without wanting it. A good girl accepts everything, doesn't make mistakes. So these are the ways we were conditioned. So imagine now when we want to step out, how can we do that? A good girl says yes when she wants to say no. Oh my goodness. That is so the good girl. And the good girl is a liar because she lies to herself that her own worth is not important. A good girl is not loud. A good girl has no boundaries. So a good girl never talks back. Yes. So this book is giving permission for us to break free from the paradigm and the oppression of a good girl. A good girl forgives. A good girl never shows disappointment. Yeah, a good girl is perfect. Exactly. So look at how we have lived. We've lived under the burden of the good girl. A good girl is perfect. A good girl is not even good enough, being good enough. She has to be perfect. I talk about all of this in this book, and I'm going to deconstruct all of this in my course. So join me on my course at aradicalawakening.com and take my course so that you can awaken yourself. I don't know how, I'm not seeing Frazine. A good girl sacrifices for others. A good girl is a virgin. A good girl doesn't cause trouble. Absolutely. Boys don't get this kind of message. You know, girls get this. And this is what we need to break free from. A good girl is fit and skinny, is humble. Exactly. So these messages that we indoctrinate become oppressive. These are the oppressors that live in our minds. And the only way that we can break free from these oppressors is to radically awaken. Luciana says, I'm an example of someone who is radically awakened by Dr. Shefali. Buy the course, buy the book. I'm waiting for my friend Frazine. I don't know how to get her here. Oh, goodness, why? I'm only getting the first person, Frazine, in the live. I'm not being able to see your request. I just see the first person who asks for the requests. Hold on, guys. Let me get my friend Frazine. It's blocking her from getting in. Frazine, try to go out of Instagram and come in and then ask again one more time. So the course that I'm doing is 10 days. It's an hour and a half each day, lots of exercises. You get a free PDF. I'm going to set up a Facebook group for all of us, and we're going to document our journey from fear to courage. And you get 3 books with the course. It's my only course in 2021. Go to aradicalawakening.com. Either buy the book or buy the course, and let's awaken together. It takes a tribe, it takes a community, it takes all of us to do this with each other. And that's what's been missing in our lives. We've been isolated and competing with each other. And we need to realize that our strength as women doesn't come by fighting the men. Our strength as women comes in fighting our own internal oppressor and rising strong with each other. So the course link is everywhere. It's a 10-day course. It's intense. It is for the spiritual warrior who wants to awaken. So if you really want to change your life and get into your deepest knowing, that's how you will be able to reclaim who it is you are. So I'm still trying to, I can't get Frazine. I don't know why. Andrea, can you help Frazine to get in? I don't know why she can't get in. So the most authentic way that you can empower yourself is to give yourself the gift of a journey. If you don't go on a journey, you know, people always ask me, why can't I just change on my own? Or can I just do this at home? And I always say that just like you would train for a sport with a coach, you need to train your spiritual muscle with a coach as well. So I'm a clinical psychologist. I've done this with so many people. We all need to get help. And sometimes to get started on your journey, you need the help of a self-growth course. And that's what this course is going to be about. It's about self-growth. It's about honoring who it is you are. It's about waking up to your true power. So I can't seem to get Frazine to come on. So maybe Luciana, if you want to come on to chat about your awakening, or Andrea, somebody can say request and I'll pull you up and I'll take Frazine next time. But we can still keep trying, Frazine. So who wants to come on to chat with me about their radical awakening for a few minutes? So request and I'll pull you in. Let me see. So Susie wants to come back on and talk about a marriage story. Luciana says, give me a second. Okay, Susie, come back quickly. Tell us about your story. And then I'll call Luciana. But I don't know whether I can do this. I see that it says 3 others sent a request to be in your live video. So I press view request, but I only see 1 person there. So I don't know how to get other people to come on. So here we are. We're talking about my book, A Radical Awakening. We're talking with other women about what's awakened them in their lives, what's been stopping them from owning their power and their truth. And in this book, I go through an entire process for you to leave fear and enter courage, and to leave pain and transform pain into power. So go to aradicalawakening.com, sign up for the book, or take my 10-day course at the end of this month, and we will all radically awaken together. The book is on Amazon. It's on in indie stores. If you go to radicalawakening.com, there are lots of links to different stores. So guys, when I press view request, it just says one person wants to be on the video. I can't get more people. I can't see more people. Oh, here you go. Here you go. Oh my goodness. I see it now, guys. Now I know. I'm going to invite Frazine. Frazine, I just sent you a request. Frazine, I just sent you a request. I figured it out. I'm waiting for you, Frazine. I figured it out, guys. Waiting for Frazine. She's coming, hopefully. Maybe your Wi-Fi is not so strong. But I figured out how to call people. I'm so excited. Oh, I'm learning all these things. Hi, Bridiana. Hi, guys. I just sent you another request. I'm awakened now. I learned something new. Hi, guys. So we're talking about my book. We're talking about how we can all radically awaken. So, Frazine, if you can't come in, then Frazine, I'm calling you. Go live with Frazine. Frazine Patel declined. Okay, let's see who else wants to come in. Let's call Luciana. Luciana, hop on. Okay. Hey, Luciana.
Hello.
So tell us about your fears and how you wanted to change and transform and how difficult it was. Talk about the difficult part of the process.
Oh my God.
I hope you remember me.
Hi.
That's Felipe.
Hi.
he was dying to say hi.
I know everyone can
So,
see me.
so basically the biggest fear was, it was like you used to tell me that I had my inner child struggling, right? And I knew I wanted to make all this transformation, especially my relationship, my marriage, and the fear that I had. So I knew everything rationally, but I had the fear. And what Shefali taught me was hardcore, right? Because she uses humor, which is, you think she's just being funny, and then she shakes you, which is the radical awakening.
Hey guys.
Saying something really it's simple now because I see it, but you used to tell me like you see it, you have everything in you, you just have to like give the love to your inner child and like hold her, but make sure she knows you're in control, like you're real you. And I struggled and I called you one time. I reached really, like, I was very low, and you told me enough, your inner child is too strong, so that's it, let's just throw in the towel. And I was like, no, but you can't give up on me. And you said, well, then do the practice. Every day you gotta wake up and show up and do the practice and do it again and do it again and do it again. And that was it for me. That was it. Like, I got everything you had told me, soothing the inner child, getting back in touch. But you taught me the steps, you taught me the practice I had to do. But basically what you said is like, wake up every day, do it again, do it again, do it again. And that's what I did. Every day it would hurt my body, physically hurt, my mind would hurt. And I would remember I had you in my mind saying, just do the practice again. You're going to have to do the work. You meditate, you clean up your diet, you clean up what you're listening to, you clean up what you're looking at, you choose your friends wisely, you stop the bullshit, you surround yourself with radically awakened, hardcore, clean up all your environment and do it again and do it again and do it again, and you're gonna fall and do it again. And I did it, and I kept doing, and I kept doing, and I kept doing, and I took up meditation more hardcore when we were working together.
It's true.
And I do it every day, twice a day, and I started doing that, the everything. And then with time,
I'm the proof.
even though people think it's not gonna work, I was one. It does. One day, it's like, you get it. You radically awaken, but you have to do the work. You have to do what you told me. You gave me the tools, and I'm sure that, if you buy the courses, every single course is one better than the other. But then you have to keep showing up every day, show up. And so, yeah, buy the book, take her courses. She gives you the tools. It's all there. It's all laid out. And then your job is do the exercise every day. Wake up and do what she's telling you. Keep doing. And I swear to God, like my life now, I tell my friends, I had a friend crying because I said, I found joy in life again. Like I feel like living again. I feel that now I'm free. That now it's very, very hard for something to shake me out of my core. I feel more peace. I feel more centered. And I feel like even someone here in the comments said something I used to tell you, oh, I don't have the money. Oh, and I feel it, right? Like my budget doesn't allow. And please, Shefali, she's more than generous. She'll work with you. She'll do anything to help people, even too much sometimes, as she'll tell people. And it is true. I'll vouch for it because she did way more than she should for me. But I promise you, if I used to hear that, but if you invest the money, even if you stretch a little, you will be making 10 times the money later, because what happens to you is it's exactly like you feel empowered. You reclaim this sense of self, the self-worth. So the money comes because you're probably not making money because you're not believing you can. So now money comes. Money just comes because I have the energy, not energy just physically, but the energy that surrounds me keeps attracting the money. She gives a great course, The Year of Manifestation, that will help you tremendously, again, with the tools. But I promise, if you just listen to what she's saying and take note of everything, just keep doing it every day, you get it.
So Luciana, you are like a paid advertisement. We need to tell people you had no idea you were coming today.
No, I wasn't supposed to be here, guys. I was supposed to be another friend, and I haven't seen Shefali in so long, right?
Right.
She's
just
very
saw
busy.
You here.
But really, if anybody has any questions, you can go back into I don't even know if it's recorded, but we worked together for years. But she literally
changed my mom's life.
See, this is my son.
Yeah.
And he's known her since he was very teeny. And also, Felipe and I can do a whole live video with you, because my child is 8.5, and the relationship I have with my son, it's
incredible.
It's incredible.
I've never seen any other parent, like, for my friends, like, act the same way. They're always saying, like, you're grounded, or you get a timeout, or you're not allowed to use your phone. But my mom's different. She talks it out. She goes and she explains why I can't do this. And then I don't do it again.
See? And it's all from conscious parenting, people. I'm telling
you. You know how much your mom and I used to talk about you when you were very small. You were 2 years old.
I don't know. I don't remember anything when I was small.
So thank her.
No, stop.
I wanted to make a little announcement that everyone out here, I have a YouTube channel. It's called Felipe Shorts.
Oh no, it's okay. He's self-promoting, but honestly, like.
But also, we have another YouTube channel, Conscious Living with Felipe.
Yeah, he did some cool videos on conscious living.
Right, I saw. So
it's all because to the point. Anybody that has any questions can reach out to me. It's not a propaganda. Like I'm as real as you can.
I didn't even know what you're going to say. I've not seen Luciana for 4 years. 3 years at least.
For 3 years.
And I haven't seen you for longer.
And it's been a journey, and I really beyond grateful. I'm not Oprah or Alicia Keys, but I'm the real deal, because I went to Shefali and I sat on her couch and I said, I was depressed. My life was, I had no will to live. Like not, you know, like I didn't feel like doing things. I didn't feel highly of anything. And today, I mean, my son was 2, a year and 9 months when I met her, and he's 8, almost 9. And our relationship is amazing, and my life is free, and I'm living, you know, the life I always envisioned. It's almost there, you know, because I'm in peace.
If none of you guys really believe this, I can tell you from experience that my mom changes every single day after each meditation period. Sometimes she can get a little stressed, but all we have to do is one hug and she changes right away. And if she's a little too stressed, she meditates on it. She comes out clean. So I recommend all of you guys
to work with Shefali, right?
To go to your YouTube channel.
No, to buy her courses, to buy her books, to buy her courses, and really do the work. Because it's not that it seems like when you're in the eye of it, it seems like it's hard to get out, but it's laid out, right? Her work is not like she's as easy to follow as you can do. And you know, I recommend working one-on-one with her, but if you can't do it, and if she can't take more people, book is amazing. The courses, she has a 52-week long course.
There's one more thing I want to say. So
this is the work of conscious parenting. He won't stop talking.
They keep talking. Finish. End of conscious parenting.
Last thing.
All of you guys, some of you might be thinking that you don't need this coaching with Shefali, but trust me, you do. No matter what happens.
See?
I can do my special eyebrow thing.
Okay.
Show me a special eyebrow thing before you go. All right, Felipe. This was amazing. Everyone, I had no idea. Poor Luciana is not even ready. She just came on impromptu because that's who we are. Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you for being real and raw and talking about your real process.
Anytime. I love you. I'm so grateful.
Thank you, baby. Thank you. Bye.
How do I get out here? Yeah.
So I'm going to try. That was amazing. Thank you, Felipe.
Why don't you press the X in the corner?
Yeah, you have to press an X.
Oh,
yeah.
There you go.
Oh my goodness. That was a treat, a treat, a treat. So I'm going to try Fazine one more time. Fazine, let's see. 5th time a charm. And if not, then we will try again tomorrow. So it says waiting for Fazine. So we're here talking about radical awakening, waking up to your authentic self, waking up to your true inner voice and knowing. Look at Luciana. She came to me 7 years ago and needed to find her voice. And now look at her voice, right? She's found it. She's claimed it. And that freedom is yours. It's available to you. So my work really helps people. There she is.
I'm here.
Fazine.
Sorry. Technical difficulties.
It's okay. You came at the right time. See, you took time. Luciana came.
Wasn't that amazing?
So Fazine,
that was meant to happen.
That was amazing.
It was amazing.
I know. So I've known Felipe since he was a year and 9 months, and she's been on the path for 7 years. So Fazine, talk about your upbringing and as a girl, you know, in a Persian culture, Parsi culture mostly. How did you find yourself being trained, and what were the messages that you got as a young girl?
So, well, I moved to the States when I was 2. I grew up just outside of a small town in Boston, Massachusetts. I was probably the only brown girl, or woman of color, or girl of color, anything of color. And so I had to kind of learn to blend in. And I think as I was doing that, I always kind of bowed down to the fact that I needed to somehow streamline myself into this mainstream social culture and try to not only academically, but socially, culturally. And so you feel pressure. You know, there was a lot of pressure growing up around trying to be myself, trying to find that person. And in that mix, I just got lost. You know, I didn't have any idea about who I wanted to be or what I wanted to be. I was just following the status quo, really. And
What
it was
was the
only
main message you got? Was it to be the good girl or to be the achieving girl or the caretaking girl? What was the main message you got as a girl?
I think it was around education the most, you know, like, and not from my parents, actually. It wasn't around my parents because, you know, they kind of allowed me to just be, but I think it was the educational system that I grew up in. You know, I was not a strong reader. And so I always, or, you know, I didn't do great in school in the beginning to, part of my life because we had just moved here. And so it was not only a social issue, it was, you know, educational. And so I got left back and I had issues around that. And I always then thought of myself as I'm not smart enough. And when that happened, you tend to lose your self-confidence. You lose your ability to think that you can achieve or do anything outside of this little box that you're in. And it wasn't until later that I realized I somehow like caught up developmentally in my teen years. And I'm like, how can I be getting these grades? It shocked me. Like it didn't seem right. And even if when I got into college, I kept checking like the letters, like, did I really get into this school? And even during grad school, I would be paranoid, like they were going to pull me out of the grad school program. Cause I always thought always had this fear around whether or not it was really true. Like I really got into this university. I can't believe they're going to take this degree away from me. So I lived with that.
Imposter syndrome.
Totally.
Right? How many of us are living with an imposter syndrome?
All the time, you know, all the time. And I see that a lot in the coaching that I do with clients. You know, I see so many people feel like they need to have the degree or the status or the amount of money in their bank account just to be here, to be present, to have some worth. And when that doesn't come to meet them in those terms, they feel like just lost. And then they go look to the outside for, you know, to addictions, to drinking, to eating, to sex. I mean, there's so many areas that people look to the external, and the answers are all within here. And your book is, I think, the calling, especially for us women, to say, stop. We need to start waking up to learning that we have a voice. We have that this has all been culture's doing, whether it's family, culture, society, systems, institutions. And we need to understand that we also have a part of us that is tappable, that we're not just fitting into this box, that there are many circles within us that we can change and morph into.
Yeah. So what was the biggest lesson that you've taken away from your awakening that you're not going to forget now?
I think that I have a voice I never knew that was so powerful, in terms of really knowing that I matter, that I can have the ability to change someone else's life, to change my life. And I know when to shut it off. You know, when I was with my son, he said, you say it 5 different ways. Why do you have to keep saying it to me that way? And he's like, I understood that the first time. And I'm like, because I want to be heard. You know, it's that need to be heard. And who's the person I was trying to do that with? He was my biggest awakener, to say, you know, like, wake up, you know, you need to stop using your voice with me, but use it for yourself. And have a voice within yourself. So
right. The key is that, right. So he's telling you, I don't need to be the one hearing you. You need to be the one hearing you. And that's what this book is all about, is that we are not our own best lovers, our own mothers, our own best friends. We don't have our own back. So then we look to our children. Can you hear me? Can you tell me I'm worthy? And your son was like, no,
No,
you go take
no.
care of your own self.
Right, right. And that was my biggest awakening. And it was so powerful. And there are so many other awakenings along the way. It's not just this one. I woke into the fact that I was a product of this educational system just a few months ago, not realizing that I was hurt by it, the way that the system put me in a box and limited myself. And I didn't realize my full potential until much, much, much later in life, when someone gave me an opportunity to really shine at a job. And that's when I realized I'm more than just what a piece of paper said, 20 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, you and I do coaching, and we see woman after woman stopping herself because she has these messages inside her head that she's not good enough. Either you, not smart enough, not skinny enough, not pretty enough, not a mother yet, not rich enough, not married enough. And these things, and years are passing us by. And we're constantly playing to this internal voice. And we don't even realize that this voice is choking us. And we first need to name it. Oh my goodness, I am being ruled by an internal oppressor. And then we have to break free from it. And we need help. You took coaching and you took classes and you now coach other people. Nothing comes without help, and I always tell people, you have to take a course. You have to go on a journey. And otherwise you can't change. You just can't do this work on your own. You need help.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It wasn't until I dove into your first coursework, the Awakened Heart and the Year of Manifestation. And those were eye-opening for me. Like, those were the holy grail that just opened the window for me, because I realized that you were talking what I was feeling inside, exactly what I was feeling. And it just spoke to me. And you and I had known each other for so long, and yet we didn't have these conversations. But once we started really connecting on a level of that, in that nature, it made so much more sense. And we were more connected. We became more connected because we were tapping into each other's essence.
And that's what happens with women. I mean, you're seeing all the women here on this chat are connecting because we're all talking at the level of essence, and we're out of ego. And that's why community is so important. All my courses have community and Facebook pages, because when we do it together, we're stronger. We're just stronger together,
Exactly. And that's, another aspect is tapping into we tend to go into this feminine side of ourselves, but do we know we have a masculine side? We have this ability to touch upon that edge, but we're told not to do that, to cover it. The society, culture, patriarchy, dictates that, we shouldn't show that side of us. And I realized in my 20s, in order to survive, I needed to show more of my masculine side. And so I started doing that, and it really empowered me.
Yeah. And we're all so scared of that. I have a whole chapter here about embracing our masculinity and to honor that boundary that we need to set to stay safe. So Frazeen, thank you for coming. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for finally joining in.
I can't wait for the book.
Thank you, Frazeen. Okay. So guys, we were discussing my book, A Radical Awakening. I'm doing a 10-day course. Join me and hundreds of women like Frazeen, like Luciana, like Susie, and we will grow together. They're all taking the course. So join me at aradicalawakening.com. You get 3 books with the course. It's my only course for 2021. So do join if you want to radically awaken and touch upon your truth and your inner knowing. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you, Susie. Thank you, Frazeen. Thank you, Luciana, and Felipe for being part of this conversation. And hopefully we will have many, many more. Thank you, guys.